Thank you, and welcome for coming. Thank you for coming. I'm Jacqueline Burrell. I'm with Comto National, and it's so good to have you here. Please introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Jackie, and thank you for having me. I'm Nikki Frenney-Wiggins, and I'm the Vice President of Communications for MV Transportation.
Wonderful. Tell us a little bit about MV. What is MV?
Well, MV Transportation is the largest American-owned private transportation contracting firm in the country. We started very small, very humble beginnings, and in fact, we're celebrating our 40th year of business this year.
Wow.
So this is an exciting time for our organization as we plan to celebrate the successes and accomplishments of the last 40 years, but move into the future to celebrate another 40.
So nice. So, wow, 40 years.
40 years.
And when you say humble beginnings, how humble are we talking?
Very humble. MV started as a one bus operation with 3 employees in San Francisco, California, by husband and wife team Alex and Faison Lottie. They actually started the company out of their studio apartment on Haight Street. They had a Murphy bed in the wall that they would pull down to sleep on at night, and in the morning they put the bed back in the wall, pull out a desk. Alex would schedule and dispatch trips, and Faison and her sister would pick up people with disabilities, taking them all over the San Francisco Bay Area.
Wow. And today, MV is in how many cities? How many
Today,
states?
we're in 28 states. We're in the District of Columbia. We operate services in Canada and several services in the Middle East. We also have an international business with tours, charter buses. We've worked with the Olympics. We've worked with World Cup soccer. So our business is expanding. While we are primarily a public transit contracting firm, we are looking at other lines of business to go into. We have a car. We're working now with a car service. So we're expanding our portfolio to be more than a public transit service, to be able to offer many modes of transportation to the population.
Wow. And how many employees do you have?
Well, we're excited that we have 18,000 employees worldwide. MV is a large employer of public transit professionals, and we pride ourselves on several of our employees starting as part-time bus drivers, many of who are now on our executive team. So we pride ourselves at grooming people from the lowest levels in the company to the highest possible jobs.
Excellent, excellent. And I seem to recall a story about Faison Lodi during Katrina, and MV Transit was very instrumental in that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can, and it was actually it's very personal to me. As Faison, I like to say Faison and Alex are the head and the heart of the company. Faison has a heart of gold. Anybody who has met her walks away with a different perspective of how someone who started as a postal carrier, started her career as a postal carrier, is now the matriarch of a $1.2 billion company with 18,000 employees. But Hurricane Katrina, I was living in Florida at the time. Faison was at her home in San Francisco. And I was stunned, as anybody else that was watching that during that time. I was just as stunned as anyone else watching what was happening in one of our premier American cities. And as I was sitting there watching the television with tears in my eyes, because many of these people were our people, my phone rang, and it was Faison. And she too was crying, and she was saying, Nikki, what can we do? What is it that we can do? We don't have any service or businesses in Louisiana, but what is it that we can do? And I said, we have to do something, Faison. I said, we have so many people sitting outside of the Superdome and the Civic Center that look like us, that are people that we transport every single day, people who obviously are sick, who are disabled, who are on dialysis. So we have to do something. We have the resources to be able to do something. So we called our CEO at the time, and the three of us conference called and said, what is it that we're going to do? Not what is it that we should do, but what is it that we're going to do? And we decided that we were going to put out a call to our 18,000 employees to say who wants to volunteer their time to go down to New Orleans and help us help these people who are stranded. And we did that. We put out a call. In 48 hours, we had 120 volunteers and 52 vehicles. Many of the vehicles, which were not our own, they were client-owned vehicles. Many of our clients joined in this partnership with us. And in 48 hours, we had 120 people and 52 vehicles in New Orleans. Didn't know where we were going to stay, where our employees were going to stay. didn't know what they were going to do or how they were going to do it, other than to help people. We hooked up with the National Guard, and they said, hey, you guys got a caravan of vans. We're trying to get down there, and you guys are trying to bring people out. We're going to partner together. And we were supposed to be there about 2 weeks. We ended up being there 6 months. Governor Blanco gave us a commendation for just being a company that knew that something needed to be done. And that's the type of company MV Transportation is. That's why I've been associated with the company since 2002, because MV believes in giving back to the community.
Wow, that is so great. Thank you so much, Nikki.
Thank you so much for having me.